Hello again. This is a project that the Sequoia Action Group has put together with a bit of central government funding and together with support from industry, and contracted Scion Forest Research to carry out the research. So Dean Meeson is the lead scientist on this project with others, and I guess the objective here is again addressing industry concerns around the variation in wood properties in coast redwood in New Zealand, and looking at opportunities both for clonal propagation, so identifying properties during your propagation process, so maybe getting rid of any bad performers at the start, but also this technology we're looking at perhaps segregating wood off the soil or segregating wood after harvest, so identifying a durability class of timber before selling it to your customer. So I won't go over a review of resurgence of New Zealand interest in coast redwood again, because I don't think too many new people have come in here. So we'll just cover off on the problem and have a look at some previous research recently carried out, and then we'll get into the study and have a look at the preliminary results that we've got. This is what clonal forestry looks like in New Zealand. This is a stand of 2005 established trees pruned up to 6.5 metres, and so they're all genetically identical. And hopefully there's some good wood properties inside there. So we've been over this. I guess the key point is that of these questions that we're asking ourselves, we've addressed point 1, 2, 3 and 4, and a question we've been asking for the last 5 or 6 years is the wood naturally durable? And as an industry, this technology of utilising near-infrared spectroscopy as a means of rapidly identifying wood shows great promise, and so getting the funding for this 2-year project has been really great, and we began collecting samples in July last year, and so we're halfway through the project now. So the problem, wood, along with kind of heartwood formation within a stem, the behaviour of durable heartwood within a stem is poorly understood in New Zealand, and of course lack of funding doesn't help that. The genetic origins of many of our stands are unknown or very murky. We've got these seed records from 1930 or 1950 or 1970, and you can't be 100% confident as to that it has come from Humboldt or what stand it has come from. So improvements in that side has been difficult in terms of any breeding program, and again issues with our national building standards, very much decided by our dominant industry there, which is radiata. So we need to classify redwood. So they've had 13 stakes in the past kind of 50 years that they'll bang into the ground and they'll let it rot. They'll pull it out once every year or two and give it a kick, and if it fails they say, oh well, that's its durability rating. So it's a very small sample and quite a dodgy methodology, we believe, something we'd like to improve upon. So yeah, the questions we have, are there some provenances, some genotypes more durable than others, and how does that durability change with age, by site, and growth rate, and are there any interactions? And in terms of immediate applications, can we really readily identify durable wood, or perhaps even better, can we really identify non-durable wood? So in a breeding program, instead of chasing a super clone that's going to do everything everywhere, maybe just getting rid of what we can identify as rubbish, so cutting off the tail as a means of rapidly improving what clones we're getting out there. And then, as I mentioned before, at the other end of the cycle, we've got a whole bunch of unimproved seedling material that we're chipping our way through and putting out into the marketplace. And we know that some of that heartwood is durable and some of it is non-durable. And if we can scan a piece of lumber as it comes off the saw and say, well, this is class 5, you've got to use this in an indoors application, this is class 1 or 2, you can happily clad your house with it and provide some confidence to the end user, then that's going to help the profile of redwood in New Zealand. Because in New Zealand, the majority of our timber is radiata pine, and if you want durable wood, you just soak it in copper chromium arsenic and whack it up, and it'll last 50 years. So that's the kind of attitude that the majority of New Zealanders have. It is changing as an awareness around leaching and your kids all eating their lunch on the school picnic table, which is soaked in arsenic, is kind of slowly filtering through, but it's taking a while. So some promising results from some previous research. So this near-infrared spectroscopy, anyway, shining a near-infrared light onto a piece of wood and measuring the reflectance of that, and basically calibrating that spectra against the loss of weight due to rot from fungal incubation. So you're getting a sample of wood, you're scanning it with your near-infrared scanner, and then you're inoculating that piece of wood with 3 types of fungi, 2 brown rot and 1 white rot, and you're putting that away in an incubation chamber for 4 months, and then weighing it when it comes out, and building a relationship here. So predicted weight loss and measured weight loss. And this initial work by Jones in 2011, so you're looking at kind of 55% of the variation there explained by that initial work. So not a huge sample size, and we were very excited about this, not having. So the cellar block testing is expensive. You're processing the.
I'm just a little confused by your predicted weight loss vertical axis. You've got a negative value on that. Does that mean it's going to gain weight over time?
That is. I've done something to that. It is. No, they're not going to gain weight over time. Definitely not. But it's the way it's transformed. I'm not. Maybe this next second slide after this might help explain it. We'll see. Don't be afraid to ask it again. Did I cover? Yeah. So indicated. Yeah, we're very excited about it. Durability is variable. We may be able to rapidly assess it in a cheap fashion. So we immediately jumped on it, sent a whole bunch of samples off to CSIRO, and anything that was coming out with class 5 out here, we were just getting rid of out of our breeding program. So we're not 100% confident it's not resistant, but in terms of ranking, we'd rather keep these guys and get rid of these guys. So that was some early advantages that we could take advantage of. So the study, there's 11 sites across New Zealand. We're covering a good range of ages. So some of the more historic stands here, 80 years, 70 years old, and then we're down into these younger stands here. 2 of the Awaho, that's a Kuza trial, and the Midhurst Taranaki, that's a Kuza trial as well. So we're going to get some good genetic consistencies there by I think we're testing 8 of the clones from each of the Kuza trials. And then 3 of these sites we've also got common clones among them. I think we've got RB2 and RB54 established at these 3 sites. So we'll cover off on some genetic bioenvironment variation there as well, hopefully. And yeah, compared to that other site, we're getting a bit more of a range in site productivity, so a lot drier and colder down here. So hopefully stretching site productivity a bit as well. So just some images of data collection. That's Simon Rapley of the New Zealand Redwood Company, carrying out some data collection. So we're disking up trees, a range of discs up the tree, cutting these in the background here. These are the Sutter blocks. So this is what is actually getting scanned and then eventually inoculated with the fungi and put into the incubation chamber and incubated for 4 months to get their weight loss. So this is it's a European methodology. So there's some European ash in there and some radiata pine untreated as controls as well, to kind of get some reference points for those resistance classes. So we're pretty much through to here now. This is a big bottleneck in the process. There's a huge amount of time cutting all these blocks up, and but Dean has run all of this for one of the sites, for our first site. So this is a 13-year-old site, seed collected from somewhere in the middle part of the range. I still haven't, I forgot to look it up last night actually, but it's a really great seedling stand. Really productive. Well, it's quite a cold site actually, but it's really productive. And so this was our kind of training day as we went through the sampling methodology. And these are the first of the results out. Very little decay experienced with the brown rot fungi. More susceptible to the white rot, and a very distinct negative relationship as you go up the tree, with your, well, positive with your percentage mass loss, so you're getting less decay resistance as you travel up the stem. And this aberration here, there wasn't much heartwood. There was only kind of 3 or 4 trees where there was heartwood up at 10 metres in this young stand. And this is the normalised mass loss on the y-axis. So that has actually been the least square regression to the second derivative, and this is explaining about 68% of that variation there for the single site. I wish I'd asked Dean what that normalised mass loss meant when you're, does that make any more sense to you over there?
No, I was just wondering if there was a score or something that I would, I was just wondering what the units are of
yeah.
y-axis, and I would think it
I'll read.
But I'll take it out after.
Yeah, I've got the paper here, so we might be able to figure it out. Okay. So encouraging results from a single site, from a seedling stand, and a very young sample. So promising at this stage. The opportunity is there to identify heartwood with poor fungal resistance, and what also came out is when you look at these NIR spectra, just zooming in on those with class 1 and class 2 durability, they think there is a unique spectral pattern, so a unique reflectance for that heartwood which is showing up as class 1 and class 2. So something we weren't planning on looking at, but which might prove interesting. So again, corporate forest owners find the variation of durability of New Zealand grown redwood to be a bit of a risk in terms of an investment opportunity, and this study is a great opportunity to to have a really good look at these main effects of genetics, site and age across New Zealand and their interactions, particularly within a tree. So what wasn't really covered in that first study, in the older trees there was a distinct difference between inner heartwood and outer heartwood, with the inner heartwood being showing less durability, which we find, it's very interesting. And like how can we take advantage of that or hopefully avoid it? So that's something we haven't, due to the young age of this first trial. There was no, I guess the heartwood was only just started developing, so there isn't that relationship. So as we get the next 10 sites run through, that'll be published in June 2017, so hopefully we get a bit more explanation around that then. So I believe that's it. Yeah, so thank you for your time. And any questions except for that one? Yes.
Yeah, what were the frequencies that you're making at? A single one? Is it a multiple?
From the NIR, yeah. So what frequencies are we looking at in the NIR spectra? I don't know the exact ones, but it is a range. It is a full output, and that's transformed to a second derivative to give that single value. Yeah.
Do those blocks, do they need to be dried, or are they green when you measure them and inoculate them?
Yeah, so they're air dried to 12%, and so we get the basic density information as well before inoculation. Yeah. Yeah.
I was curious about your results that you said there was higher decay in taller trees, or is it samples higher up?
Yeah, that's as you're moving up the tree. So a disc at breast height is more durable than a disc at 10 meters. Yeah.
Can I ask, just a kind of random question, are there any trees native to New Zealand that are durable and suitable for forest plantation in New Zealand?
Yes.
Are you also doing research on comparing? Because I know Redwood is very durable wood, and especially for decay resistance here. I just wonder if there's any comparison.
Yeah, there's so Totara is a naturally occurring species, which a lot of it was cut down and used for fence posts 150 years ago, and they're still in the ground about 100 years ago. And there's other, the big push as a replacement for CCA treated radiata posts in vineyards in particular. We've got a huge amount of vineyards, and they've all got these CCA posts in the ground leaching into the aquifers, whatever. And so there's been a big program for the last 5 years looking at fast-growing eucalypt species, class 1 durable eucalypts, which grow very well in dry environments. And that's looking at, so a natural hardwood to replace those treated posts. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.